Hey folks, and welcome to CarStars' 10 Cool Facts About Jim's 49 Mercury Coupe in the 1955 film Rebel Without a Cause, celebrating the film's 70th anniversary. Also, have a happy 4th of July holiday weekend, folks. Fact number 1. When Warner Brothers set out to capture the angst and rebellion of 1950s teenage life in Rebel Without a Cause, they knew the lead character's car had to reflect more than just transportation. It needed personality. The studio sourced a single 1949 Mercury Eight Coupe from the Southern California area, a practical and popular car among working-class families and increasingly popular for young customizers. By the time filming began in 1954, the Mercury had become a common sight on American roads, making it the perfect choice for Jim Stark, a kid trying to blend in while still standing apart. What made the 1949 Mercury particularly suitable from a sourcing perspective was its body style and proportions. The coupe's long hood, low roofline, and rear slope gave it a strong visual profile without requiring body alterations to look the part. It had an unmistakable silhouette that the camera could pick up from any angle. Studios favored cars that could photograph well under hard lighting and wouldn't date a film too quickly, traits the Mercury naturally carried. Its post-war styling also gave it a certain visual heft on screen, helping it stand out in wide shots without upstaging other scene elements. Because Jim's car wasn't intended to be used for stunts or anything destructive in this case, they just needed a single decent quality vehicle in solid mechanical shape to fill the role. At the time, it was just another used old car purchased for film work, unaware that it would become one of the most culturally significant and longest-standing movie cars ever committed to film. Fact number 2. The 49 Merc used in the film ran its stock 255 flathead V8 engine outputting around 110 gross horsepower. Known for its durability and smooth operation, the 255 flathead was a solid choice for daily driving and light performance. In the early post-war years, it earned a strong following among hot rodders, even in stock form. Its simple design made it easy to service and dependable, two traits that made it a good fit for the demands of movie production, where reliability between takes is paramount. The car retained its stock mechanical setup throughout production. It used the original intake, heads, and camshaft, with no additions like performance carburetors or headers. The exhaust note was assertive enough to give the car presence on screen without needing aftermarket modifications, and the flathead's reputation for consistent performance made it well suited for repeated use during filming. The transmission was a standard 3-speed manual with a column-mounted shifter. This drivetrain setup provided dependable, smooth operation and required no changes to fulfill the demands of the production. So, in other words, everything under the car's body was the same as it was when it left the factory in '49, making it not only period correct but also an authentic reflection of what many real-world drivers were using on American roads in the early 1950s. Fact number 3. The third-generation Mercury 8, produced from 1949 to 1951, marked a major turning point for the brand. After years of borrowing design cues from Ford's other models, Mercury finally stepped into its own with a sleek modern body style that captured post-war American optimism. The 1949 model introduced an all-new slab-sided design with integrated fenders and a smooth roofline that made it look longer, lower, and more refined than its predecessors. Under the hood, all third-gen Mercury 8 models came standard with the 255 cubic inch flathead V8, an upgrade over the former 239, and one that gave Mercury a bit more punch and prestige. Buyers could choose from multiple body styles, including coupes, sedans, and convertibles. But the two-door coupe stood out for its balanced proportions and sweeping roofline. The ride was smooth, the styling was clean, and it had just enough chrome to feel upscale without being flashy. For middle-class buyers, it offered a sense of step-up luxury without jumping into more pricey Lincoln territory, and that made it a hit. What really cemented the third-gen Mercury 8's legacy, though, was what happened after it left the showroom. Customizers in California and beyond quickly saw the car's customization potential. Its wide body, flowing lines, and simple trim made it ideal for chopping, shaving, and lowering. The car became a cornerstone of the early custom car scene, with icons like Sam Barris turning them into sleek, lead-filled cruisers. Even in stock form, though, the 49 to 51 Mercury had a certain built-in cool factor, one that carried it from family driveways to Hollywood films and eventually into hot rod history. Fact number 4. As for the few modifications made to the Rebel 49 Merc for its role, it was given a handful of subtle mods to help it reflect the mood of the film. The car wasn't turned into a full-blown custom, but it also wasn't left completely stock either. One of the most noticeable changes was the dechroming of much of its exterior. This included deleting the fender moldings, hood ornament, and some side emblems, giving the car a cleaner, more stripped-down appearance. The result was a look that felt understated but tough, perfect for framing it against the film's brooding tone. Another mild change from stock was to the car's ride height. The Mercury was lowered slightly, giving it a flatter, more aggressive profile without sacrificing ride quality. While the exact method isn't detailed in studio records, this was most likely achieved by cutting the front coil springs and adjusting the rear leafs, a common practice at the time. This drop in height helped enhance its visual weight on screen and added a subtle, rebellious edge. It was the kind of cheap modification a real teenager in the early 50s might have done with limited tools and budget. The car was also painted gloss black specifically for its role. Combined with the shaved trim and lowered stance, the black paint gave the car a darker, more purposeful presence, less flashy than a showroom car, but more polished than a backyard beater. These visual adjustments didn't scream for attention, but they allowed the Mercury to become an extension of the film's atmosphere and unmistakably cool. Every modification was minimal, but intentional, giving the car a distinct identity without overshadowing the story. Fact number 5. After filming wrapped in '55, the Rebel 49 Merc didn't disappear into obscurity like many other film cars of the era did, fortunately. Rather than being stripped, wrecked, repurposed, or sold off anonymously, the car was quietly set aside by Warner Brothers, having survived the production completely intact and undamaged, since it wasn't used in any stunt scenes. This single hero car remained whole with the subtle modifications made for the film retained, which helped it stand out a bit even when parked among other studio inventory. In the years immediately following the film's release, and James Dean's tragic death later that same year, the car began to take on a legendary status among collectors and fans of early custom car culture. As Dean's popularity skyrocketed posthumously, anything associated with him became the subject of growing public interest. The Mercury's connection to the film and to Dean himself made it a highly desirable piece, not just for its Hollywood pedigree, but for its authenticity. Unlike most cars used in films, this one hadn't been overly restored or altered much at all since it appeared on screen, and that added greatly to its legacy. Eventually, the car was acquired by noted collector William F. Harrah, who was well known for preserving important automobiles tied to celebrities and cultural history. Harrah's interest in the Mercury wasn't just because of Dean's name, he understood its place in both movie and car culture. The Mercury was added to his massive personal collection, which included hundreds of rare and historically significant vehicles. Once in Harrah's hands, the car was stored, preserved, and displayed with an understanding of its film legacy and cultural significance. After William F. Harrah passed away, the car was later donated to the National Automobile Museum in Reno. Fact number 6. Over the years, the screen-used Rebel 49 Merc has been featured in several respected automotive publications, helping to document and preserve its legacy as one of the most iconic movie cars of the 1950s. One of the most detailed and definitive features appeared in Special Interest Autos magazine, issue number 154, July-August 1996. This article profiled the original 1949 Mercury 8 used in the film, confirming its provenance, detailing the studio modifications, and showcasing photos of the car both on screen and in its home at the time. It also traced the car's post-film ownership, particularly its time in the William Harrah collection, and emphasized how rare it was for a film car to survive so completely intact. Then in 2011, Hot Rod magazine briefly spotlighted the Rebel 49 Mercury in an online issue. Though the coverage was short, it confirmed the car's identity as the screen-used vehicle and described it as mildly customized for the film, mentioning its reduced trim, lowered stance, and gloss black paint. This article appeared online under the title 1949 Mercury driven by James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause, displayed at the California Automobile Museum, published November 18, 2011. The screen-used 49 Merc was also recognized in Street Muscle magazine on August 31, 2015, in a piece titled Top 15 Hot Rods from the Movies. The article highlighted the influence of James Dean's Mercury on the popularity of third-gen Mercury 8s in the custom car world, and reinforced how its subtle film modifications helped elevate the car into a symbol of cool. This modern feature served as a testament to how the car's reputation has endured through the decades in enthusiast circles. Fact number 7. In 2011, The California Automobile Museum in Sacramento hosted a rare and highly publicized display of the film's 49 Mercury. The appearance wasn't part of a standard exhibition plan, but rather the result of a friendly wager between the Sacramento Museum and the National Automobile Museum in Reno. The bet was tied to a minor league baseball series between the Sacramento River Cats and the Reno Aces. When the River Cats came out on top, Reno made good on the bet by loaning one of its most prized vehicles, the James Dean Mercury, for a limited-time public showing. The car arrived in Sacramento that fall and was placed prominently on the museum floor, surrounded by signage highlighting its connection to James Dean and the iconic film. Visitors had the rare opportunity to view the Mercury outside its usual home in Reno, and for many fans, it was their first time seeing the actual screen-used car up close. Fact number 8. In August 2015, the National Automobile Museum brought the iconic Rebel 49 Merc to the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, where it was showcased in a special class dedicated to post-war custom Mercuries. The car was displayed alongside other third-gen Mercs, but it stood out because of its genuine film provenance and mild customizations. Curators emphasized the significant point that this was the one and only actual 66-year-old movie car. While the car wasn't entered into direct competition against the highly customized showpieces, it received respectful attention as a historical exemplar. Pebble Beach officials used its presence to illustrate how early car customization shaped automotive style in the 1950s and how movie appearances can turn once ordinary cars into true legends. Fact number 9. Today, the 49 Mercury 8 from Rebel Without a Cause is carefully preserved, still residing at the National Automobile Museum in Reno, Nevada. Though it is now a 76-year-old car, it remains remarkably solid thanks to the museum's commitment to conservation rather than full restoration. Mechanical and cosmetic work performed over the decades has focused on maintaining functionality and appearance without altering the car's original film-era configuration. Visitors to the museum are still able to appreciate the car precisely as James Dean and production crews left it in 1955. It remains a running vehicle, showing that over 7 decades later it can still roll out of storage and be shown without losing its character. That delicate balance between preservation and usability is what makes this Mercury such a rare and cherished artifact of both automotive and cinema history. Fact number 10. Taking a peek into the scale model world, although the film didn't have any direct official merchandise scale model replicas, there were some unofficial releases several decades later when the car became more recognized as an icon of the 50s era, as well as James Dean remembrance. Probably the best direct replica of the Rebel 49 Merc Coupe you'll find out there is this quite nicely detailed 1/18th scale release from Ertl, which captures the car's unique details well. These are no longer on the current retail market, but can be found often on eBay for around the $140 mark. If a standard 49 Mercury Coupe is good enough for you though, MotorMax makes these more easily obtainable 1/24th scale diecast models here that are fairly well detailed. These are available on the current retail market for around $25. If model kits are more to your liking, AMT makes this 1/25th scale 49 Mercury Coupe model kit that you could use as a base to make an even more detailed replica if you wish. These can be had for about $70, and I will put links in the description below to where you can pick up the MotorMax and AMT models. By the way, folks, I recently started a new and also film-related and similar format YouTube channel called Mind Litter. If anyone is interested in hearing more about our favorite movies and TV shows beyond just the cars, such as other behind-the-scenes info, filming locations, and actor-related tidbits and such, I will put a link in the description below for those interested in checking it out. Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks for watching, and make sure to hit that subscribe button if you like what you saw here. You guys are all great. See you next time.